This is the Sales Babble Podcast, episode 238, Nimble Social Sales and Marketing, an interview with John Ferrara.
Welcome to Sales Babble, the podcast that shares selling secrets for non-sellers. And now your host, Pat Helmers.
Hello, Sales Babblers. This is Pat Helmers, and today we are babbling with John Ferrara. John is the inventor of one of the very first CRMs that was ever created, Goldmine. And he's currently got a new system that he is working on called Nimble. Today we talk about how you can build a sustainable garden in social media, things that you can do to stand out. We also talk about the 5 F's of life and the 5 E's of social selling. Lots of great stuff here, things that you can do to create genuine, rich relationships with people, build a network that will sustain you beyond your current job. So, with no further ado, let's get to it. Welcome, John. Are you ready to babble?
I was born to babble, Pat.
You are indeed. In fact, just yesterday, you and I are on the phone for quite a while, and we were talking about CRMs and social selling. You're the CEO of a company called Nimble, which is what do you call it, a social CRM?
You know, Nimble is the first CRM that works for you. And I think that's the biggest problem with CRM is you work for them and you have to go to them to use them. Nimble automatically builds your relationship platform for you from the contacts in your business and then works with you everywhere you work, because I think we all need help in building and nurturing the key relationships that help us achieve our passion, plan, and purpose in life.
So there's a premise here, and I'd like to kind of start with that. Being social with people is really important. And in fact, when we were chatting yesterday, you were talking about the power of each person, each salesperson needs to create their own network beyond what their company has, but within themselves. And the best way to do that is through social media.
Well, I think that people buy from people that they like, know, and trust. And that you need to be able to set yourself up as the trusted advisor for your prospects and customers and their influencers as well. So when people need your products and services, they not only pick up the phone and call you, but they drag their friends with them. In today's over-connected, over-communicated world, it's getting harder and harder to stand out. But if you don't stand out, you're dead in this world. And if you rely on your company to help you build your brand and nurture your network, you're going to fail, because your network is your net worth. Your personal brand and your professional network will help you achieve your dreams in life. So every day you're connecting with new people, and you should be reconnecting with some old people in order to build what I call a sustainable garden around yourself that helps you to achieve your goals, which number one should be serving others, because I think that service is the new sales, and that you're on this planet to help other people grow. And if you are focused on that, helping other people grow at scale, you could build a gold mine.
So what kind of garden did you call this?
Sustainable garden.
And why that?
And actually, I have a story about that. So my wife took me out into our garden because she's a gardener and I'm a computer science dude. She dragged me out there to show me a monarch butterfly caterpillar. And I said, "What is a monarch butterfly caterpillar doing in our yard?" And she said, "I plant milk thistle in order to attract the monarch butterfly caterpillar that eats the aphids, so I don't have to spray." And I started listening to what she was talking about, and she basically puts things in the gardens that attract other things, so it becomes self-sustaining. And isn't this what we need to do in our lives as a business or a person? You want to attract the right people into your community that helps you to achieve your goals in life. And so what I say to anybody listening to this today is you should establish an identity across the key places where your prospects, customers, and influencers have conversations and look to learn and grow. And in many cases, that's happening in places like LinkedIn and Twitter and blogs and other places. And you should set up an identity with a great photo, an avatar, a great bio, and some links to a central location like LinkedIn, and share content on a daily basis to inspire and educate other people about how you might help them grow. Don't talk about your products. Don't talk about yourself. Talk about how you can help other people grow, because I think people buy a better version of themselves. And if you do that, they'll see you as an expert in your areas of products and services, and more than likely call you, so you won't even have to cold call them in order to start conversations.
People buy a better version of themselves. I love that.
It's true. Most salespeople talk too much about their products, their company, and themselves. And if you did the 80-20 rule, the 90-10 rule, where most of the stuff you share is inspiration and educational, and some of it was about yourself and your products, you'd stand out more.
With this strategy, it seems like it's going to be a whole lot easier for people to move from company to company, because people don't stay in companies very long anymore. What is it?
The average is 3 years.
3 years.
So
that's what I thought. Yeah.
The range is 1 to 5. The average is 3. And you're going to get hired at your next gig based off your brand. They're going to Google you.
Yeah.
In fact, in the future, they might nimble you. They're going to Google you. And if they can't see how you can add value to them, and if you can't bring a golden Rolodex with you to that next job, you're done. You're not going to get hired. And so I think that everybody listening to this today doesn't take good care of their network today. You need a personal CRM. You need a contact manager that helps you to put your key relationships in and then use them wherever you're working. In the old days, that was Act for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, for me, I used to use Act. I've used Salesforce. I've used Base. I've used a lot of different CRMs.
But today, most people have their contacts in Google Contacts or in iCloud and then in LinkedIn. And in some cases, it's Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Instagram, Foursquare, Google+, Crunchbase, and AngelList, and Snapchat. And so how do you manage this ever-growing set of contacts that you have and nurture them so that you ideally generate some type of mutually measurable, mutually beneficial outcome? I think that most people listening have forgotten more about their products and services than their customers, prospects, and influencers ever know in their life. Imagine, Pat, if you gave your knowledge away on a daily basis. Would people operate on themselves? Would people to do the things you do so well by themselves? No. But you will stand out as an expert to them so that when they do need you, you'll be top of mind and they'll call you. That's effectively the whole idea of using social to build your brand to stand out from the crowd.
I totally agree. And I think people, I don't think they respect and see the real value of having referrals and references from people that already know them. Even if you're starting in a business that you're new to, if you're selling a product or a service that's never been in the market before, you would be surprised how many people in your network, and it could be as simple as just your family network, they may not be prospective customers, your ideal client, but they might know people are. And if you could leverage them, you'd be surprised how many leads you can get. All you got to do is ask.
And what's interesting is that this methodology of identifying the influencer of your key prospects in and around the areas of promise your product and building a relationship with the influencer and then getting them to talk about you is almost as old as time. This is how we built Goldmine. We built relationships with the Novell reseller, which was a trusted advisor to all those SMBs. And with Nimble, we built the brand by identifying influencers in social, sales, and marketing, sharing their content, hashtagging it appropriately, pound sales, pound marketing, and attributing their name. That's like dropping a digital fishing lure into the social river outside your business, and then people bite on that because people are voraciously reading to improve themselves. And so they're going to read about that and ultimately click into your identity, which then they're going to click onto your website. And ultimately, if you do that consistently, then they'll see you as that sort of trusted advisor. And when they need your products and services, they'll reach out to you. And this happened to me with an executive from Disney. So I share content on a regular basis to inspire and educate others how they can become better, smarter, faster at social, sales, and marketing. I do it by mainly sharing other people's content that inspire me. And this gentleman was talking to an executive from Salesforce who basically said that CRM is about empowering customer-facing business team members to engage. And he said, "Bull, it's about command and control. And when are sales managers going to loosen their grip?" And Nimble told me about this because it listens to the signals in Twitter and basically applies a fingerprint to people that are interesting that I should connect to and surfaces them. So I nimbled the person and saw that he was head of data and CRM at Disney. And it was more effectively not only able to respond to the tweet, but I was able to then reach out to him on email because Nimble gives me the contact info, email and phone number. And that connection in Twitter became an appointment in my calendar, eventually a LinkedIn connection, and eventually we met face to face, and Disney became a customer. And that's sort of an example of how you can use social to build your brand by inspiring and educating other people, but you need to listen and engage and then reel in the contacts and then take it face to face, because the more digital we get, the more human we need to be.
The more digital we get, the more human we need to be. I think that's really, really, really right. There's just so much noise out there.
There is. But you can get by the noise by doing more human things. Picking up the effing phone.
Yeah.
Send in a handwritten note.
Amen.
Being prepared before a meeting by researching the person and their company and being prepared to understand not only how to add value, but how to share the 5 F's of life to develop intimacy and trust. In the old days, when I went into somebody's office, I looked at their walls, the books they read, the degree of the school they went to, the knickknacks they collect, to find areas of commonality, to share that with that person, to earn intimacy and trust, to get them to open up to me about their business issues, which as a professional I can solve. Today we do that electronically, but most people don't do it because it's too much work. You work for the CRM. You Google people for the meeting. You got to go to the CRM and type that in. Then you engage in email and social, and then you got to go back to the CRM and log it. And that's why they call it Salesforce. You have to force salespeople to use it. People are tired of working for their CRMs.
You said something quickly back there. I want to go back. You said the 5 F's of what?
5 F's of life.
What are the 5 F's of life?
Family, friend, food, fun, and fellowship. These are the softer side of life that we connect on. And so you and I might connect on the fact that we both value family or cooking or backpacking, some of the softer sides of life. And that's how we're going to stay connected. The fact that you and I both like to brew beer, right? And you basically grow your own hops, whatever it is, these are the softer side of lives where you actually connect and stay connected. LinkedIn's like my lobby. It's like walking into my business lobby. It's not who John Ferrara is, and we're going to stay connected on those softer things. Those are the 5 F's of life, and that's why you take somebody to a ball game or to your home or to a pub, is to build that softer, deeper connection. And so I've got a few acronyms I'm going to lay on you. The 5 F's of life is the way you connect and stay connected. The 5 E's of social selling is how you build your brand and stand out from the crowd. It's educate, enchant, engage, embrace, and empower your customers. So for you to stand out from the crowd, you should be inspiring and educating other people about how they could become better, smarter, faster in and around the areas of promise your products and services. So that means you educate with enchanting content that's inspirational with the intent to engage and empower your customers to achieve their dreams. Because Zig Ziglar said, the more people you help grow, the more you'll grow. And that's our job on this planet, is to help other people grow. And so the 5 E's is the formula that if you just follow that, educate, enchant, engage, embrace, and empower your customers, you will have so many connections that you'll need a platform to manage them all.
So we're really talking about the strategy here is that whenever you should pick some social platforms as a seller, and you should be actually actively working on this, actively posting content that engages people. It was the 5 E's. We went through those so fast. Let's do those.
Educate. Enchant. Engage.
Get them to talk back to you. Right.
Embrace. And empower.
Embrace. How so?
I think that relationships are deeper than business, and the best business relationships I have been taken to that friendship level. And so
Yep.
embrace is about embracing that person, right?
Yeah.
So do you know Miles Austin?
I do. He's been
Okay.
on the podcast.
Miles Austin is a dear, sweet soul. I love that guy, right? And we've shared things that are about our kids and our family. And he's been going through some issues with one of his sons, and so our relationship has gone way beyond the fact that we're both sales influencer, thought leaders, speakers. It's personal, and so yeah, embrace, man. Get over it.
Yeah, and this is totally true. This is what's happened in my life many times. People I have met in business through one time or another. You're shaking hands and you're exchanging business cards, but over time it becomes so much more, so much more. It becomes true.
Yeah.
It can become true friendships, and
Yeah.
which can lead to lots of things, lots of
And,
possibilities.
and I have a historical philosophy of how sales got lost.
All right.
So,
I'm a history.
that,
By the way, I'm a history buff too.
oh, you and me, man. In fact, I just signed up for a premium subscription to Geocron. Have you ever checked out Geocron? It's an app,
No.
and it's Geacron. You could put in any time in history, including 500 BC, 1000 BC, 3000 BC, whatever, and you get a world map of the geopolitical time of that date, and you zoom in, and it has markers for wars and cities and battles with history. And oh my God, I have so much fun with that. And then Hardcore History is a podcast
Oh my
that I
goodness.
absolutely adore.
I actually met him last year, Dan Carlin. It was just a really interesting. We had a great conversation. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I believe that if you know history, you better understand the present and you can predict the future. And so here's my historical perspective on sales and branding, networking, and relationships. Go back 100 years, Pat. We all lived in a small town. We really did. There was no real density in cities, and mass manufacturing was just starting. And it's mass manufacturing that overproduced brushes and other things that caused us to hire door-to-door salespeople to go knock on doors and sell them, and ultimately Madison Avenue mass marketing in order to drive people into stores that would then be able for salespeople to bag and tag them with slick willy sales techniques. And I think that gave sales a four-letter word mentality, and it really soiled what sales is. But sales is a service. Service is the new sales. Your job as a salesperson is to help that person grow, even if it means recommending the competition. And so I think that social media is increasing the transparency and the expectations of of what we have to each other and from the seller to the buyer. And it's bringing us back. It's making a revolution in relationships and bringing us back to a small town. So the world has become a small village through the use of social media. In fact, that's why you and I are talking, is because how it's flattening the earth. And I think that that it's reimagining sales back to the days of Zig Ziglar and Dale Carnegie and Napoleon Hill, which I think are the foundations of selling, and that social is just applied to those concepts. So social selling isn't anything new. It's just applying digital to the time-honored teachings of the greats.
I totally agree. I work out of a makerspace, and there's a guy who's in his 70s who was in the 1970s was a heck of a tech sales guy. He was selling plastic products and things like that, and he talks about what sales like was back then, back in the late 60s, 70s, and it was they were constantly eating, constantly go out to lunch, constantly golfing, drinking all the time, but which isn't really something I think is really applicable to today. But what he was doing was building relationships, so people didn't think twice when it came time to like making an order, that they would call on John. Yeah, he's my guy.
Yes. Yes. And it's the 5 F's of life that build those deeper connections that will ride you through the bumps that inevitably come of discounts and inventory and all the things that can screw up a deal for you.
They've almost tried to, with the RFP and whatnot, a lot of large organizations have tried to take the humanity out of sales and try to make it as scientific as possible. But the truth is, time and again, purchases are done with feelings and done with passion, and they're often not done without a spreadsheet.
People buy from people.
Yeah.
It's not B2B or B2C, it's P2P.
Yeah, I've heard that. I like that. P2P. Yeah.
Or H to H.
Human to human.
Yep.
I agree. John, how can people find you online?
Well, you can Google me, John Ferrara, JONFERRARA, or you could just you can go to nimble.com and sign up. When you sign up for an account, I'm your first record. I go out with everyone. In fact, Goldmine, I was in every single database as well. You should see my junk mail back in the day. But you know what I love, Pat? I learned from the direct mail my customers Goldmine sent out. It was a hoot to see the different things that they sent. But my email is jon@nimble.com. I'm easy to find. I'm JON_Ferrara on Twitter. Please connect with me. Let me learn a little bit about you and how I might be able to be of service to you. Because, Pat, believe it or not, a year after I sold Goldmine, I got a head tumor and almost died. And in the process of healing, that was 18 years ago, by the way, knock on wood, where's some wood? I came to a conclusion about my philosophy on life. We're on this planet to grow our souls by helping other people grow theirs. Period. That's it. And I've been blessed with the ability to help other people achieve their 3 Ps, passion, plan, and purpose, in life at scale by building relationship tools that help them to do what they need to do. And don't think of Nimble as a CRM as much as a relationship manager, because I think that's what's missing in CRM is the R. CRM stands for customer relationship management. It actually is a customer reporting manager because it's not designed for relationships. It's designed for reports on your activities in the pipeline that you're creating from them. Your relationships are really built traditionally in email and now more and more in social media. And that's what Nimble does so well, is for you as an individual or for a company, unifies your disparate contacts, enriches them with people and company data, and then lets you use it back in any of the places you live, including email, social, or any of the 100 SaaS business apps that will synchronize from, because then you could use your contacts and the history inside QuickBooks, inside MailChimp, or even inside your CRM if you happen to be using another company's CRM. And I'd love to offer your listeners a gift. Nimble comes with a 2-week free trial, but if during that trial you decide it's of value to you, if you sign up, use the code JOHN, JON40, and you get 40% off your first 3 months. And heck, Nimble costs less than a decent burger per month. And if you can't get enough value out of it to help you grow better, smarter, faster, then I'll eat my hat.
Versus the burger.
I have a chocolate hat, man.
John, thank you very much for visiting us here at Sales Babble. This has been really great. This has been really insightful.
Cool. Well, Pat, I believe that we're here to inspire and educate others, and any opportunity I can to get up on my soapbox to help other salespeople demystify how they can sell better, smarter, faster. It's a treat for me. And I got to make a new friend, and we're going to have to talk about brewing beer because it's a lot of fun.
It is. Thanks a lot, John.
Thank you, Pat.
I love this guy. He's authentic, he's real, and I think he's spot on, and he's trying to do the right kinds of things. And I'm so happy to have John on the podcast. Get this again, the more digital we get, the more human we need to be. And the things that we can do to get past it is being real, working on those 5 F's: family, friends, food, fun, fellowship. These are all things I love to talk about. And these are the things that you use to connect with people and to truly build a real relationship. And yeah, like you said, these social networks out here are the places where we're starting to do that. And the more human we can make that, the better. To connect with John and the links to Nimble and his free trial, you can find them in the show notes at www.salesbabble.com/238. And I've got a new download of the 5 selling secrets for non-sellers. If you go to salesbabble.com, you can see the sign up for that and get that right away. If you got a moment, I'd really appreciate it if you could go to your podcast player and give us a 5-star review and mention us. It's one of the number one ways that people find us, and it'd help us get the message out to other people. That's all I've got for today. Until next week, take care and have a highly successful and profitable selling day.
Thank you for listening to the Sales Babble podcast. Find us at www.salesbabble.com.